It was the time of afternoon. Ravi was standing in the graveyard looking down at his mom's grave. He had few blossoms in his grasp, which he purchased to put on her grave. He was remembering his mom's memories. A cool wind was streaming, touching his body. After some time spending, he thought of leaving the place. He sat in his car and left the place. He sat in his car and considered taking an alternate street as opposed to the standard one. After covering some distance, his car broke down. Ravi got out of the car to check. In the wake of researching, he came to know he would require a few tools or a repairman to settle it.
Ravi checked his cell and discovered his battery was dead. As he glanced around, he saw a house just nearby. He thought of taking assistance from a few people from that house. As he continues towards the house, he felt a dark feeling. He needed to advance from crooked woods. Ravi knocked on the door, but no one answered. Or maybe unusual, the door was already opened. Ravi felt odd. His feet were reluctant to go into the house, yet to fix his car, he has to take this shot. The house was simply desert. Seeking around and by taking a gander look inside the house, it was kept neat and clean. It resembled somebody was still living here. Ravi continued to glimpse inside the house. As his eyes rolled towards the room, he saw an old woman was lying on the bed, with open eyes gazing at the roof. Ravi went close to her and attempted to talk. In any case, there was no reaction from her. It was like she was in extreme lethargy or something. Be that as it may, her eyes pupils were reacting. Ravi was an accomplished male medical caretaker specialist. He frequently came to know the slight uneasiness of the old lady as she attempted to move while lying. He promptly influences her to sit by putting the cushion behind her. Ravi glanced around and he saw a table on which incomplete sustain was kept. He thought of going out when somebody else sees him before, as it was not a decent indication of sniffing around anyone's house like this. Ravi ventured out of the house and he felt a shocking icy breeze puncturing his body. In any case, Ravi looked outside the house. There was a little lawn as he discovered an old shack. He went close and luckily he discovered some expected device to settle the car. He immediately settled the car and he felt relieved. At the point when Ravi sat in the car to drive, he took a gander at the window, and the odd thing he saw, the old woman was gazing at him through the window with the vulnerable eyes. At night, Ravi was thinking about the old lady, as he cared the most for the old age people. He used to see his parents in them while taking care. That is the reason he picked the calling of male medical caretaker. A regular visit to the graveyard and keeping the flowers on his mother's grave used to give him peace and feeling of his mother is close to him. Very close. Ravi got up from that nightmare. He was sweating with fear. There were random thoughts going through his mind. Felt very disturbed and stressed. After 1 week, in the wake of going to the graveyard, he was dropping by the similar road which he took a week ago. Only for the interest while passing the house, he pulled over the car. He thought of giving a casual visit. Ravi went close to the window to take a look inside to see whether the old woman was okay. In any case, he discovered she was absent on the bed. there was an unforeseen idea conceptualize his psyche. An old lady who was not able to move a single solitary muscle was not on her bed. Additionally, the bedsheet was altogether scattered. He attempted to glimpse inside the house from the window, yet he was not getting a reasonable view. Ravi thought of to give a knock on the door again to check it. Again, the door was left open. When he got inside, there was a strange view which loaded him with stun. The old lady was fallen on the ground, and she had graved with a nail on the floor in writing for help. Ravi lifted her, influenced her to sit. He wiped the spit trickling from her mouth and gave water. He helped her to rest again on the bed. Presently he was feeling there was something truly wrong event in this house. Ravi was thinking, why had she written help on the ground floor? Who is taking care of her? Who must be the proprietor of this house? What number of individuals are living here? Thus many quantities of mussing began going through his head. Around then he saw outside the window, and he saw an odd thing. Ravi went outside to check. There were candles which were placed encompassing the house circularly. Presently this was getting more secretive. What was going around here? He chose to discover it. He again went inside and attempted to converse with the old woman. But that as it may, there was a dead hush. Ravi thought of remaining there until the point that somebody shows up so that there will be an elevation for him. He sat on the couch, contemplating the circumstance. After some point, he fell sleeping. Ravi did not understand how long he mulled over the couch, yet a crawling sound broke his rest. He woke up and saw around. Somebody had came there and freed the old lady. Ravi saw the utensils on the table, which had half outstanding sustains. He all of a sudden heard an odd clamor originating from outside the house. When he saw from the window, his eyes got totally open as a result of what he saw. There was a shadowy figure that was chanting something and placing candles around the house. Ravi got outside the house and he saw that hooded figure was rapidly running towards the close-by woods. Ravi began to take after her by keeping a decent pace. He tried to call out that figure from behind, but it did not turn. That hooded figure kept on walking deep into the woods. Now Ravi had come too deep in the woods. It had got darker. He had gasped out. The most exceedingly awful thing was the hooded figure was vanished in a thin air. He had lost the track of her. But suddenly he got hit from behind by something and Ravi felt unconscious on the ground. Next morning he got up and he was in the middle of the forest. But he was surrounded by the skulls and there was a blood written carving on the tree. The message to him was straight and clear. Someone did not like his interference. At the point Ravi, when got up by gathering all his vitality, he felt an outrageous cerebral pain and serious sweating from his body. Regardless of how he got hold without anyone else, however, he was severely frightened from inside. Ravi returned to that house, checked with the old woman from outside that in the evening that she was fine or not, and get into his car and left the place. He thought of asking the nearby people about the house near the woods. In return, he got some shocking answers. People told him they never knew about the house. Also, they would never dare to go near the woods because it was haunted by occult witch. Some of them also saw her sightings. One of them also told that she practices witchcraft at night and gives sacrifice of the people. While driving back to home, there were lots of random thoughts going through Ravi's mind as he was getting some of this situation to a clear perspective. What he saw last night, that hooded figure, was a witch or some other person. The question remains, why that figure is placing candles around the house in which that old lady stays? Is that shadowy figure going to sacrifice that old lady? He returned home. Ravi took out the photo of the witch which he got from nearby localities. He looked very carefully. Nothing suspicious found in that picture. He was told by the person it was taken very long ago. From the condition, the picture quality was quite blurry. At night, while Ravi was trying to sleep, he was quite restless. Always thoughts of that old woman were running through his mind. Somewhere in the corner of his mind, he was looking his mother into that old woman. Due to his kind character toward the old ones, the situation of that old woman was more worrying him. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Ravi thought, who would be so late at night? He got up and opened the door. After witnessing what he saw, sent a spine-chilling horror through his body. The old woman from the house was at his door asking for the help. Ravi got up out of his bed, shouting. He couldn't rest. That old lady was simply chasing him. He had a plan. He was thinking to bring the old woman with him from that haunted forest to an orphanage in the city. On the off chance that something happens wrongfully, he will oversee ahead on the grounds that consider the possibility that her relatives are as yet living with her. What he saw was she was being taken care by someone by feeding her. He prepared rapidly and left that night itself. But after reaching that place, he got filled with fear. There was a written help from inside the window. Ravi went inside running in the house. The old woman was on her bed laying staring at the ceiling with her eyes wide open. Ravi tried to ask her again with a bundle of nerves that what help did she want and from whom. This was all getting crazy. After some few attempts, he helplessly went into another room and sat on the couch. He was thinking, what if she knows about that hooded figure? Maybe she's asking me for help to get escape from that thing. What is troubling her? While thinking, he took out the picture of that witch. He was collecting all the incidents till now, as he decided a deadly plan that he will catch that figure. As expected, he started hearing some creeping noise out of the house. Ravi looked from the window. There was that figure again, murmuring and placing candles. He peeked from the door gap and saw that shadowy figure was drawing some kind of occult circle symbol on the ground. After some time, that figure went at the backside of the house to place the candles. Ravi came out very silently and took a closer look of that symbol. It was just drawn outside the door. He then went behind the house, sneaking in at the back of that figure. Ravi grabs the crowbar for safety and pounds at the hooded figure from behind. off the hood over the figure's head. He saw there was a girl inside. Ravi raised his hand with crowbar in action of threaten. He stopped as she was begging to hold on and was trying to say something. Ravi grabbed her head and barraged her with questions. He was in a furious mood. He was shouting at her about didn't she felt ashamed of doing such a thing to an old helpless woman, practicing witchcraft on her just for the evil rituals. That girl shoved Ravi's hand off her hood and screamed back at him, telling him that no daughter can think such evil intention toward her own mother. Ravi felt more confused now, but his baffled iceberg of mystery was cracked as the girl started telling her story. She told her name as Arima. Arima and her family used to live in the nearby forest. Her family was proficient at removing demons from the possessed humans. They were called by the villagers for the help to get rid of the hunting witch in the woods. One night, all the villagers decided to kill the witch with the help of us. They found the witch and trapped her. My father went near that witch to control her, but she was way too strong than expected. She pierced her nails through my father's chest and he died on the spot. This laid all villagers into madness. Without thinking of their life, they beat her badly and burnt her. At the time of burning, mother performed the ritual which made her weak to perform any deadly spell before dying. Our family was left in a sad dilemma. One side we had lost our father, and the other side the good thing that the witch had died, who was the biggest threat to the innocent life of the people. The witch burned, but she never screamed while burning. That was the strange thing, and that where she struck her final blow by throwing her soul into the body of my mother. We all were unaware. We were in a deep sadness of losing our father. After covering some distance, my mother screamed in horrifying pain and she fell on her knees. Me and my little brother turned around. We instantly felt that the witch is inside her. We quickly get hold of the situation and started performing the ritual to control the body before the witch inside her completely overcomes. But the power of that witch was too strong. My mother grabbed my brother's head and pressed it into the soil, making him suffocate. I was trying my best to grab hold of her, but she was too powerful. Then she started biting my brother's face. I took out the holy star and shouted with all divine chants and placed it on the head of my mother. But it was too late for my brother, as she had already bitten off his eye and let his soul free from his body. That's how I lost my entire family. My mother was dead alive. I put a bewitched necklace in her neck so she would not able to speak or manipulate some spells, keeping my mother far away from the localities in this house, because if anyone would have known about her possession, the people would have hunted her and killed my mother. I used to take care of her every day, giving her some potion of temporary paralyzing by mixing in the food used to make my heart cry. It would help to take out the movements of her body. Pretending myself as a witch, I used to keep people away from the woods. I was waiting till this day for the blood moon eclipse. It is said that the sun will turn into darkness and the moon will into blood before coming of the great day of the Lord. On this night, I have to perform a ritual which would permanently remove the soul of that witch, and it will not able to possess any living thing again. The reasons I used to keep the candles around the house were to keep the dark energy, to attract towards her, to help her, and the occult symbol is the only guarding source to keep her detained inside the house. Arima could complete her words. Ravi cut the conversation and told his mistake, what he has done. He told Arima that when she was placing the candles, he wiped out the occult circle. He thought it would be some harmful witchcraft act. Suddenly they heard some noise coming from inside the house. Ravi, without thinking twice, ran towards the house. Arima tried to stop him, but it was of no use. Ravi went inside and he saw the bewitched necklace on the floor. There was a horrifying growling he heard, and Ravi looks up. His jaw gets dropped, his heart gets sunk as he witnessed the most horrifying scene. The witch inside Arima's mom has arisen. The wiping of the occult circle had brought her dark powers back. Also, the potion of paralyzation was not fed to her. The witch was rolling in from gradually and she was rolling with Seth. She bounced on Ravi. Ravi's feet went cold by looking at her. Outside, Arima started creating the occult circle again, outside the door, which would help to keep the witch inside and will not able to escape. The witch sees Arima drawing the symbol on the ground and she starts getting towards her. In meanwhile, Ravi snaps out of his fear and grabs hold of the witch. But she grabs Ravi and single-handedly throws him into the cupboard. Ravi gets up quickly and grabs the witch from behind tightly. She tries to escape his grip, but Ravi's hold felt too strong to her. She looks upwards and with the power of telekinesis, she breaks the ceiling light. The ceiling light comes down, falling straight over the head of Ravi, and he loses his hold. Meanwhile, Arima had came inside and she blows a wizardous power into the eyes of the witch. The witch still is able to lift her by one arm and throws her into the nearby furniture. Then the witch widens up her hands and the furniture in the room starts floating in the midair. She throws the furniture all over Arima and Ravi. To escape from the house, the witch jumped out of the window. Ravi got worried because if she was able to go into the woods, they will lose her forever. Arima calmly said to Ravi from behind not to worry. When the witch got out of the house, she saw that the candles and the occult circle were completed and she got in to know that she is still trapped in the circle. Her face had major cuts because of the shattered glass of the window, which had made her face more terrifying. She turned around with raging eyes. Ravi and Arima had already came out of the house. Ravi was holding a long rope. Arima had a bewitched necklace and the holy star and were coming towards the witch. But they saw the witch started moving her right hand like she wanted to take out something out of her sleeve. Arima told Ravi before she could do any attack, go and tie her with rope. Ravi went running towards the witch and after a hard struggle, he was able to tie the witch with the rope. The witch was screaming in agony. When Arima was performing the holy chants over her, then all of a sudden there was a deadly change in the witch movement.
She bent her head one side and her eyes rolled back. Arima was continued on her spells and prayers. Ravi was struggling to control the movements of witch. After some time, Arima finished her chants, and the only thing was remaining to put the holy star on the head of the witch. Arima started to get near the witch to put the holy star. There was an evil smile on the face of the witch, and in fraction of seconds, Arima's neck got snapped in an instant jerk, and there was a bone-cracking noise. Ravi was stunned in shock as he saw Arima's body felt on the ground like a dead meat. Ravi can't believe his eyes as he saw the cold body of Arima. The witch was devilishly laughing from behind. She had a voodoo doll in her hand of Arima, which she was trying to take it out from her sleeve before their attack. The witch had pressed the neck of the voodoo doll by her thumb to break it. Ravi turned with rage. He took the holy star and lurched forward to keep it on the head of the witch. But the witch had a horrifying transformation, and she roared out some evil storm of dead leaves, pointed branches, stem and thorns. Ravi was unable to see, and he got caught up in that storm. He was struggling to reach towards the witch, but was thrown away. The force was too fearful. The witch was laughing wickedly for her triumph. Ravi was tangled and stuck into the storm, but he saw the blood moon eclipse. It was turning into full blood moon. He knew he had a very less time to execute the holy star on the head of the witch, because if the eclipse passes, the witch will be in her full form. The stem and the pointed branches were tearing Ravi's flesh and getting pierced into his body. In the middle, a sharp branch got pierced into the shoulder of Ravi. He screamed in pain. Due to high blood loss, he was feeling dizzy. Ravi had collapsed due to major injuries in his body. The storm was still over him. But suddenly, the havoc of the storm stopped. Ravi lifted his head to see what had happened. The witch was surprised and felt immersive weakness in her soul. She looked towards the sky and saw there was a full moon blood eclipse. Her powers were temporarily lost. That was the plan of Arima, to drag her out in the occult circle under the blood moon eclipse and destroy her soul forever. Ravi knew this. It was the chance. Before the eclipse is over, he has to quickly reach to the witch. Gathering all his left energy with full willpower, he got up. He ran towards the witch and gave her a fierce left hook on her face. Then he put the bewitched necklace around her throat, grabbed her hair and pulled her head down, and placed the holy star on her forehead. The witch screams in extreme pain. She tried to resist and broke her ropes, but it was of no use. There was a big blast of the mystic smoke out of the body of Arima's mother. She fell on the ground. The old mother get her senses back as she broke down in tears, realizing the situation. What had she done? Ravi just kept looking towards her, speechless, only with eyes full of tears dripping down from his face. There was a graveyard silence everywhere after a demonic chaos. Ravi brought Arima's mother to the city. She went into permanent coma after that incident. After 2 days, the local ranger corps came there to take a visit. Some of the nearby local people had complained them about hearing some strange noises from the woods 2 days ago. The cops were lame in their work. One of them came out of the house investigating it, saying that there is nothing here. The other cop, which stayed outside, didn't even bother to look around.
He said, "I don't understand why we are here. Does this work comes under our duty?" The first cop showed him something which he had found inside the house. He said, "Look what I found. Looks like a voodoo cryptic doll." By saying that, he just held the black doll in front of the face of the other cop. The other cop was already frustrated. He said, "Keep it away from my face," as he held the doll and lit off his cigarette by pressing it on the doll's eye. He said, "Do people still believe in this kind of shit?" And saying that, he broke the doll from the middle. They left that place as stating it's just an old abandoned house, nothing much. But still, the question remains, from where did the second doll came? At the time when Ravi wiped out the guard of Occult Circle, the witch inside the house became active by recollecting her energy. At the time when Arima was telling Ravi her background story, inside the witch was busy making 2 dolls of both of them. The witch already had the hair of Arima, as she took by the time Arima used to take care of her, and she had a piece of cloth of Ravi's t-shirt. From that, she created the dark voodoo dolls. When Ravi came inside the house, she quickly kept both the dolls under her sleeves. But at the time of fight, when she jumped out of the windows, Ravi's doll fell inside the house, and she only had Arima's doll, which she later used to kill Arima. At the time, Ravi got lucky as the witch accidentally dropped the doll. But was he really lucky after what those dumb cops did to that doll? Ravi was not that lucky. As the cult of the witch had taken life of all of them, as her evil soul was laughing somewhere.